Mame fa na se ma PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Yo abusuafo enyoma bi esisi wo Ghana hanom a ewo se yema yani ekoho pa ehu. In fact meka se baby adu no ewo se Ghana ni bia wo oman mu anase amanone ya ohwe eye PENDREAM TV mesrese obema wani abre na dia wo so betumi aye wo afam bia especially se obeba social media na wabe kasa ama Ghana for anawiase nyina ate wonka no ehu behia enyoma ben ene esisi efree ebra omampanyini Akuffo Addo eba eye power na Ghana for the to me ehye ne nsa na obeye omampanyini no se mobile stadia efree sa brenum ebepom nne oba the security agencies no mu a eba no police military immigration fire service ne honkeka hono all of a sudden forms ensa ma abontin bi say forms for recruitment say bia ye the forms wa beto abontin say wa uhia bia say wo so pese ope so ba any of the security agencies no bi no akwanya abeda ho ama da bi unya biem e say forms are eba nyina no ye the slot no e de koma NPP for constituencies no enti ubehu say slot ni nyina ye the ma constituency executives from national to region to constituency no omo no acheche dia ama omo members enti he say adena ko say from 2017 ebepim 2024 year ye wu mi 7 to 8 years ye wura mu yi no party ni like any officer bia ye be fa no police ye be fa no e wo military ye be fa no wo fire service ye be fa no immigration customs ni ho keka ho bia no sa nipa no eye NPP ni e na ama no so that opportunity na nipa na nya dia ba mu no eye NPP ni e na ama no that opportunity enti edin sem bebiri aba ama enne ame no mo kase interview bia eye NPP offense chairman ewo offense northern region akasa na allegations are ye de to no so no oba so oba bi yi ano no akirikirem na o kirikirem no fa kasa no ka no dago ma kasa me pese ye be kwakutie no ye okasa wi a eye honorable Suhini Alhassan Suhini be ba be kirikirem o kirikirem wi a obete de me kana senti mpa cho interview ndi enche kura enti nyabotre na tie interview no se de esi call ye kwan a omampanyini Akuffo Addo ehye da se forms no eba out a MPB a 30 slots MPB until say MPs near 107 200 and saying me fan say sorry MPP side no 137 MPs no omu nyina obi a 30 slots ansa na aba executives like constituency executives omu nyina 22 slots ansa na aba regional executives na national executives. In fact eti ade no koye say omu ku nyina like recruitment I see for police mu ye for military mu for immigration customs ye for fire service ne onka won krampo na e che say eye MPP for nko an ye for which is dangerous to this country. The person ye koni ekutie interview no ewo fence Pan African TV so na san komodidi e course to be person ye be ko send be abeti nkomo na se yi na wahu ba bia me free eba no yenko na yenkutie wo bra na sena numbo na osi kirekire mu bo video no na munsu muntie.
We're talking about the minorities allegation. The minority says currently, if you're a parliamentary candidate of the NPP, you have 30 slots within the security agencies. Find some 30 people who want to join the security agencies. Bring them. We'll place them accordingly. The Minister for the Interior says they are doing clearance of backlogs. Now, Joe Ajago asked a very interesting question. Says, Senna and the panelists, good morning. On the recruitment, does it mean those who applied between 2017 up to 2019 thereabout. Are they still qualified or eligible for recruitment? Because what I know is for general recruitment, the required age group is 18 to 25 years. Now, it's been almost 8 years down the lane. So why are they telling Ghanaians that they are clearing the backlogs? When will this very administration tell Ghanaians the truth? Always lying on very important issues that affects Ghana. God save us. Watching us live from the USA. In fact, I'll go to Honorable Suhini soon. But lawyer also said that actually these were promises made during the NPP primaries. Yeah. That will happen.
Oh, so during the NPP primary, if you follow the MPs across, you have promised that people slots. They can say, listen, I'll give you also maybe a police station chairman. I'll give you 3 slots. Yeah, it was. I'm saying anybody can take me on. Anybody who thinks that what I'm saying isn't right can take me on. Yeah, you understand? But during the NPP parliamentary elections, if you followed it intently, candidates were going around. One of the biggest promises they made wasn't that they were going to give proper oversight on the executive. And the people won't be interested. So they come to us and say, well, when can give you slots, 2 slots, you will give you 3 slots. Or that was what they were saying.
I asked that because we have an interview that was done a few months ago by the chairperson of the NPP in Tamale South, talking about the same issue. It's in Dagbani, and also I understand you are aware of this particular interview. Okay, so we'll share it. Yes, we'll share it with you. It's in Dagbani. We'll share it with you. Then it will be the 10 of Honorable Suhini.
Until Mr. After a year Dagbani interview, no, a course of Dagbani Kasam. After no, a year Honorable Alasan Sunini, a bit chichi Mama Matias.
The fire services, no now yara, ne part of the fire services can zanker Unanya. And Dina Biani, Chiana Babiani, now one Biani. There's one year I trust our Gafar. I woman,
and woman, Chama.
No one year Shamyara, but I still have one chance to come 2 slots.
Okay.
Fire service 2 slots.
Ciao.
22 slots, Maka, executives, million executives, can own secretary. Obi, Bola, Bima, Bola, Bima, Letiji. Orakana Tiyama, Chairman. Ian Bima, the Bo, Fire Service, Maka Pasha. There's all kind of one in ya, then you bent to 2 slots. Kind of one I saw man the intimate Kim Bima.
Okay.
Yamana can doesn't I Mati, secretary, consensus secretary.
Okay.
Mal evidence. Benti Lara 2 slots man. Kachana Samba. Or years I in it. I wouldn't yet. I
won't that Chama.
Or years I in a Kayelman. Nay, or years I in it, 1 years I in man knows on a cheat in consensus. Kayelo, but the 2 America so come to Yina, Cabatiso come 2 slots, and Conquer Dimokale Pima Bay. So come in Kasi. We are no onboard shamba, but to let the buy a more pillar shall not be consensus. Don't go to a bank. Let the member me once on a tissue.
I see.
Let him bank. No other on the tissue, okay, I'm another de la consensus. Yara organize a nature. Fire service man. I know 2 slots, and Chevrolet, Milla Shell woman. Dino Cabracilla de Bata, consensus matter, do not come when you met a bump and shot them, then no shop. I want to buy my other bargain. I'm also coming to yell. I'm going to garage a man to know what be Chama. Chama, somebody yell, I mean, maybe man on the Tiao garage.
Okay.
No cause on Tobia. I just want the man in the cherry. These are the torture in one Chama Samba when you're the yellow show.
Okay.
So you're yellow torture. Dino Karina Kayimi Gafaru. I did part one puri. That the 2 slots come better work the Cabana, come and get on a timber.
Yes.
Can on a team executive. Take out here, Gafaro, mid Surami. no me ayan no sham tama ben mo sa ayire ndebora de bay nzan solve problem sha ka tama chance nin cham tinye amman bande office ma ya ka sa biya yin mo zan de bay tama kan ka ti yoro ko ya de bay kane za yin biya ko zan za yi tama kan ba man da halaji ko biya kan zan ba ma tin da halaji ma kon sai sa bane biya kon sai sa bane biya chabiya tele chabiya ni cham red no cham tele original national kabali yini bala na halka pana lo se po mabrati la tu slots be betila de bata.
Okay. So chairman I to ango wo hormone 2 slots ma kabrati ka chairman samba P1.
Chairman samba yesa yini.
Okay. So I
personal secretary.
That's right. So Abibe Fire Service amanyinda bole dabam kabanda to slot shell man.
Manda la Abibe Fire Service mamim bombale.
Okay. Okay. So ara check
personal use.
Is the chairman of Tamale South constituency for the New Patriotic Party speaking to an interview on radio. There's one thing I understand. 2 slots I know. 2 slots I know. And I heard Samba's name. I know Chairman Samba. And of course, I also heard Fire Service, Ghana Police Service. Honorable Suini, what was he saying?
Good morning, Senna. Good morning to our viewers. And good morning to Uncle Kwesi and Dankwa. Dankwa Pia Dankwa.
That Pia Dankwa close to Radio Go.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's the family. Yes. Good to know. All right. And good morning to the very good people of the Tamale North constituency. Senna, maybe I should do the translation first. So that was the Tamale South New Patriotic Party constituency chairman speaking to Abdel Gafaro on Diamond FM in Tamale a few months ago. The basis of this interview was that he was accused of allocating slots for fire service that the party has given to himself and his family members.
Okay.
And so he had to clear his name. And in the interview, he talks first, it's a long interview, he talks first about how they were given 1 slot for army. And how that was given to, someone in the party. But this part that you played is on fire service. And he says that the party gave every constituency across the country 2 slots for fire service. Every constituency had 2 slots. And that the regional chairman of the party, Northern Region, Samba, called him and in allocating the 2 slots to his constituency, told him he wanted 1 of the slots to give to somebody in his constituency. So he was the one to determine who in Tamale South will benefit from that one. And so that he yielded to that proposal, even though he wanted to find out if it was only Tamale South slots he wanted to treat that way or the whole country. But he didn't go further into that one. And that he took the 1 slot and gave the 1 slot to his constituency secretary's son, because the constituency secretary had come to him to complain about how the son had struggled for fire service without success. So he gave that 1 slot to the constituency secretary's son. And that the other slot Samba took. Later, he found out that the constituency organizer's son had also gone for the fire service. So his assumption is that the slot Samba took was given to the constituency organizer's son. But his own son is also in the fire service. But that allocation, according to him, did not come from the 2 slots that the party gave each constituency, because he decided that as a leader, he could find other means to get slots for himself. So the 2 slots for each constituency, the way it was distributed was that the constituency secretary had 1 and he gave it to him, and Samba took 1, and he thinks that since the organizer's son had the slot. That was a slot Samba took and gave to his constituency. But he went to other places and got a slot, which he gave to his son. But across the country, 2 slots, fire service for every constituency.
I see.
That is the evidence of the claim that the minority leader led the minority to make this week. If anybody is in doubt, this is evidence enough that only a couple of months ago, the constituency chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Tamale South constituency spoke about the slots that they were given. And if you know how parties work, Sana, I say that some of the problems we face as a country is the level of dishonesty at every level. If you know how parties work, the 30 slots can be given from the ministry. But between the ministry to the party headquarters, to the regional headquarters, to the constituency headquarters, it can reduce to 2 slots per constituency. And anybody who is into politics and understand how these, not this, but resources generally are shared, will know what I mean. In fact, they call it editing. A lot of editing can happen to the allocations before they get to the bottom. So the minority leader was not just blowing hot air. And Senna, maybe before the decision was made to play this tape for me to translate, I intended to start on a note, and I will seek your permission to still go back to the point I wanted to start from. This week, and I'm starting from there because it's not part of the topics. This week, something very, 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 very serious has happened in court involving the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in the case involving the minority leader, Honorable Akuffo. It is a very, very, very dangerous thing that I pray that we do not sweep under the carpet. I pray that the people who matter, who care about this democracy and the rule of law and good governance will do everything possible for us to get to the bottom of this matter. The perversion of justice is the final blow that can be dealt this our democracy. Look, multi-party is the basis of every democracy. Multi-party is the basis of every democracy. But extreme partisanship corrodes democracy. It corrupts it like nothing else. And the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, by his conduct, by his words, by his deeds over the period, have demonstrated that level of extreme partisanship on many fronts. So much so that if this allegation against him is proven to be true, it will be in the interest of all lovers of democracy to distance him as far as possible from any political office. It is that excessive partisanship, Senna, that is putting our democracy at risk. It is the reason why we are having to even discuss the press conference that the minority leader held this week about the destruction that we are doing to our security service. Is that excessive partisanship that we are seeing displayed in almost every sphere of our lives. And so it is my hope that in the coming days we will pay attention to that allegation made by Mr. Japa in the witness box in court about how the Attorney General met him at odd hours, called him at odd times to persuade and, if you like, coerce him to falsify testimony against the minority leader so he can secure a conviction. It shouldn't be taken lightly. Senator, that extreme partisanship is in the topic that you have presented for discussion. And if we do not deal with some of these things, we will continue that race to the bottom. Our democracy started quite well. It took a lot of toil, sweat, struggles, and it's actually a privilege for us to have the opportunity to sit with some of the people who led the struggle back in the day. I'm talking here about Akuffo and others. To ensure that this democracy that we enjoy today was established. It took a lot of work. And that work, that sweat, the blood that was shed for this democracy to be established should not go in vain. But over the period, it seems that we have been in this hasty race to hit bottom with the democracy. Look, you can say I'm partisan, but it's a point I have made many times on different platforms, and I'm yet to hear a convincing counter. The NPP, the New Patriotic Party, began this race to the bottom in 2000 when they won the 2000 elections and started governance in 2001. And I'll give a few examples. Forget about my partisanship for a moment and tell me if the examples I will give are real or not. In our communities, in our various communities, we all knew who the contractors were. We all knew who the contractors were. Mm-hmm. We didn't have party contractors. Mm-hmm. From 1992 to 2000, we didn't have party contractors. Everyone knew who did the road contracts or the drains or whatever construction had to be done. We knew them. I mean, in the northern region, for example, we had the Savannah construction, we had the Lidra construction, and Lidra, by the way, later became the vice president of President Akuffo.
Aliu Mahama and all kind of no. Vice President Aliu Mahama at the time, now or no, or yeah, one of the contractors are from 1992 to 2000. Now NDC abaya now Rollins da no more contract de bia more contract de bia more ya pioneer who de no munim so ye NPP ni or ye financier to the NPP party no more musika de koyo campaigns ni who de Rollins mu nyina ni tua mu. But you see na ya ye o man no say obi ye NPP ni no obi ye NDC ni a bibia ensi hu kwan se oye NDC no NPP ni so owonsa no djuma na se ne nsa no djuma no Ghana nyina benya no so mfa so a ye mfa djuma no enhye ne nsa ma ye nka se we NPP ni nti the Rollins mo no hwe se masa ye mfa efense like road constructions ni ho de ade na and this person ma Ghana ni not NDC ni and NPP ni but eventually Ono Aliu Mahama became the vice president to Dr. Efense to President Akuffo. Problem bi ani ho. Ati ase sana na etie. Nti eno no ochirichiri mu no. Sa tam ye ni se we NPP contractor, we NDC contractor. NPP for the status anyoma no.
People didn't have any entitlements if construction had to be. One knew who did the road contracts or the drains or whatever construction had to be done. we knew them. I mean, in the northern region, for example, we had the Savannah construction, we had the Lidra construction, and Lidra, by the way, later became the vice president of President Akuffo. People didn't have any entitlements if they supported any political party. They just, out of the goodness of their heart, decided to either belong to CPP, to PNC, or NDC, or NPP, or based on upbringing. They just chose parties that they wanted to support and work for, and that was it. No one supported the NDC in 96, and after the party won the 96 elections, he went around looking for auction cars. They didn't even know about them. Or went around looking for speed ramps to do, or drains to dredge, or weeds contract. No. All of that started after 2001, when even serial callers were allocated affordable houses and auction cars, and party contracts became the order of the day. People were given contracts, even if they didn't have a contract license, for them to look for others with the license to come and do and give them kickbacks. That's when many, I believe in the NDC, started thinking that they had been foolish. They had missed opportunities. And so government could be this sweet, could have such opportunities, supporting a party could afford you such. That's when many NDC people started thinking that way. And so, therefore, were you surprised? I'm talking about the race to the bottom. So once that race began, were you surprised that in 2009, Professor Mills, with all his good intentions, struggled to raise the bar after it had been so dropped to the bottom? He struggled. His party chastised him for denying them certain opportunities. Remember the Alex Segbefia and Co saga at the ports and auction cars, the struggle, who got it and who didn't get it. The attempts to put in measures to control it. So the appetite had been developed by watching what the NPP did from 2001 to 2008. And so it became difficult to contain the appetite of the NDC members after 2009. Professor Mills did his best, and I'll give you another example. He managed to, against the wish of his party, allow district chief executives to stay in power for, I think, 3 months after he won, because he thought there was a need for a smooth transition. Even though the NPP had chased almost every appointee of the NDC out of office in 2001. They didn't wait for handing over. They chased people out, over 10 pickups, seized cars. In fact, Professor Mills's wife, the late Professor Mills's wife, was put behind counter bar after they stormed his house to pick cars. But when he became president, God bless his soul, against the wishes of his party, he managed to tame the appetite to revenge and to take advantage like the NPP did. I mean, President Mahama took over and also tried to, stabilize the situation. You remember, even when he was doing his State of the Nation address, the evidence-based State of the Nation address, the people he pointed to as success stories based on his policy interventions. Some of them were NPP chairpersons. Because the message being sent was that, look, we are all Ghanaians, and if there are opportunities, we must all be given the level platform to access them. That was the message. I mean, yes, it wasn't pleasant for even some NDC members, because the NPP between 2001 to 2008 had mastered the winner-takes-all attitude. And so some members of the NDC didn't like the father-for-all concept. But Professor Mills and his prodigy, his mentee, President Mahama, held on. Yes, I mean, like I said, there were some... You cannot keep the goalposts thoroughly. You can only try, so they did try. And we thought that the one government that was going to take over from them would have also maintained that same effort. I mean, what do NDC young men and women tell their party leaders today? In fact, all of us. We will support you. But when you win and we come looking for jobs, don't be telling us that maths and English nonsense again. Because that was the order of the day under the previous NDC. And that is what I was saying. Trying to keep the goalpost. Trying to ensure that things are done right. And so you would have expected that the next NPP government, that's Nana Akuffo Addo and Dr. Bawumia, would have also made the same efforts to improve upon the situation. But no. They opened the floodgates. And this is what we have. And that is the challenge for the next NDC government. And that's why I say, the more we ignore these things without dealing with them, the faster we hasten our steps towards destruction as a democracy. Because when we destroy all the institutions, the only thing left to be destroyed will be the democracy.
Sure.
Security. I mean, we all thought that there were some positions in this country that were constitutionally protected, had immunity, and the barriers that one had to cross to touch people appointed to those offices were such that it is better you don't even try to cross those barriers. So, for example, when President Kufuor appointed the Chief Justice, Madam Georgina Wood, even though the NDC in opposition and later in government 2009 to 2016 was not comfortable with her, they did nothing about it. In fact, petitions upon petitions were sent for her removal. Those petitions were not acted on. The assumption or the perception that she was MPP or MPP bias was known to many NDC people, including its leadership. But she had constitutional immunity which was respected until she served her term. We thought same could happen with Bank of Ghana governor. We thought same could happen for the electoral commissioner. But the NPP took over and they have gone there. Now they have opened the floodgates. And so don't be surprised when you hear people in the NDC say, Jane Mensah will go. The precedent has been set. The precedent has been set. And it has been tolerated. So who are you to say, don't do it, if you also have the opportunity? Because it has been tolerated. So, like I said, you can think I'm being biased because I'm NDC. But these are things that have actually made it very difficult for the NDC, even with good intentions, to raise the bar whenever it takes over. Because an attempt to raise the bar, like in the case of the security, can you imagine, Senna? The opposition from within the NDC will face in 2025 when it attempts to streamline things. And we all know as citizens that it is in our interest that things are streamlined and opportunities are such that everyone will have an equal level playing field to access those opportunities. But we are witnesses to the corruption of the process in our time. And we are not even demonstrating against it. We are not even speaking up against it. In fact, we are looking for opportunities ourselves. So, this is about our national security. And it is being dashed to party secretaries' sons, organizers' daughters, chairman's sons. Well, maybe the next NDC government will have to create a balance before it begins to correct. Yeah. Because if you have flooded the police and the fire service with your sons and daughters, who, by the way, are also citizens and are entitled to the opportunity, and so it will be unfair to sack them. You can't even sack them. The law doesn't permit you to. But perhaps it will be fair for the NDC to also flood and create a 50-50. Yeah, so then we can all begin to talk correction. Because an attempt to do the right thing without creating that balance means the NDC loses favor with the people. Because then the perception is created as if the NDC doesn't like its own people. I have witnessed a situation where I was walking with a colleague member of parliament at a parliament car park. So I'm telling you this true story. Saw a lady approach. Said, oh, this girl is my former woman organizer's daughter. She came to me looking for a job some time ago. The lady gets close. This colleague MP of mine asks her, hey, did you get the job you said you wanted? She says, no, she's still looking. Said, if you get immigration, will you go? She says, yes. Take this number, go and call the person and go and do medicals. Yeah. Life in front of me. That's how people are recruited. That's it. And that is why the NDC couldn't have chosen a better theme than Rescue Ghana. In every sphere of life, this country needs rescuing. The economic front, we need to be rescued. The country needs rescue. The environmental front, the energy front, even the social front.
So, baby,
we need to get our loins. At least for a moment, let me appeal to my brother. Let's diminish our differences. Yes, lawyer.
I don't think differences is
No, you don't. We are united by the need for change.
okay, me that's okay.
But even within that unity for change, we may have different ways of pursuing that change. But my appeal to all lovers of democracy and patriots of this country is that we must diminish those differences for now. We must delimit our weaknesses, individual weaknesses and collective weaknesses, and get together to get this nation wreckers out of office. And then we can begin to discuss among ourselves with good intentions how to bring this country back onto the road of growth. So the minority leader was spot on. The Interior Minister never denied that allocations have been given. I was shocked when he suggested that some minority, MPs or NDC people were also beneficiaries. Like, I was scandalized, to say the least, that was his defense. I was scandalized. First of all, as Interior Minister, I hope he understood the impact on his office of such a gaffe. Intelligence is conducted on intelligence. And intelligence is guarded. And it takes a lot of integrity and discernment for people to be able to trust you with intelligence. But that doesn't matter. Assuming without admitting that some NDC MPs or minority members or NDC people also benefited from those allocations. Is that even right? To use it as a defense? And I'm happy that the minority leader has challenged him to produce evidence. Produce evidence. It's like you are stealing and you are caught. And then you say, oh, I'm not the only one stealing. So what's the name? Senator is stealing. How does that exonerate you as a thief? We need to rescue this nation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ti abusia for enkomo no ene yakofa de abramo no said ye kan ye no ohun say oman ba bia adu no agisa menu mienu ye kan ye ntoma ebom na ye rescue this country. Oman ba bia oman panyina Akuffo Addo de oman na dru na me sheda en kan se ono nko a ena criticize mercy di ama oman Ghana NPP amanyuku na nkasa on senka tumi bi ekuta tumi bi a was a party no nka ye paper free Ghana history was a party enke ye free Ghana abakosem because Ghana problems nyina if it's our party we problems are Ghana come from Kwame Nkrumah time a NPP for any or more ancestors and accurate problems in nara ama Ghana yanko yenim Ghana kayen to me sabio yan to me ni memfan say Cuba money Singapore money Dubai money and what they are they unrock like yan robu shoulders no a NPP amanyuku ya any o masefo the santini say sa wo hwe Juma nkrofo yi di bedi omampanyini Dr. Kwame Nkrumah adwempa na papa yi wo Ghana ho kwan a wode Ghana si so a ene America nanka Ghana etu anka ne kai betumi di ensasi ebo aka say Ghana would be one of the richest countries in Africa, or let's say even in the world. Ghana will be part of the developed countries. And it may affect other African countries ni nyina no. Enkrofo di omani bre. Ani bre na say your mind. in the name of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah enim amambuo yentu no ne yankase yemeye no mkutu no omu beso mu a omu enese no pasa efiri ho ena ku we ba no abetuwe we ba no abetuwe we ba no abetuwe kopem se 1979 abrantie young boy bi sorry ya ono se bio university kron ko bi da ayefe no JJ Rawlings etumi beje o man si ho hwe o man bo man hu ban make sure so man betumi asafa ne ntoma pa fira na wa wo hwe from 1992 pa ye de ba eye democratic system nim na wo hwe kwan a o man panyini Rawlings efa so bu o man to make sure say constitution na odi anima ye set ye no no ankasa de be ye adwuma na odi ye adwuma pepepepepepepepe chiche Ghana Japade nyina ma all the 10 regions making sure so bia benya esonfaso no discrimination nya say we free ha there be making sure say region bia benya ne so enene de so wo hwe recruitment nsem ya ye kan ya Rawlings sampen so ye chichem region bia ye wo quota ye be fa free ho region bia ye quota be fa free ho said ye be ya si ye koshia e be ba na say every region has been represented. Every tribe have been represented. She say, omoye in such a way say, enkoye partisan. Say, ye the slot in my NDC for parliamentarians ne FN saying constituency executives ne regional executives ne what they are no. Ye the forms no be go abonten. Wo Ghana ni bia office wo so wo pese owura police mu owura military mu owura immigration and customs mu and fire service mu akwanya ne da ho ma wo se wo so be kwa peke forms wo be come medicals be kwa hwe e be screening ya yi omo fi se omo qualified no e de omo ayeden akọ recruitment akọ training on ne yed maba o man penyini kofuo be take over pe na saade no start say essa a ban construction government offense governmental awards saying me fan say contractor ye dey awarding crofo ne ho ade do na dane che say NPP for unye NPP ni a wunya binye eno na ekoma obra atamels buy na NDC for say hey ye yawo aban mu da ade a ya mfa nye nkrofo o mo buy mo de be ye nti atamels ososo wa bai ye no sa ma ye se ne MPP for buy ye o me ye no ososo wa bai ye no sa ma ye na atamels say there be media me ye father for all member ye te say de Akuffo Addo mo be ye sa oman no ne ye say no ye ndwene oman no say de eye a Hassan Suhini kan no say ye koso a jeopardize ye institutions no say institutions na de be ka yen ene sa fe de democracy na wo say say no enti country biara ni nipa papa bi e bebam bia wo say wo hwe say the institutions will be empowered, the institutions will be energized in a way a bit to me ama or mine of permit me agina yi enti say o man penyini atamel sa wanya ne ba bi ko nyame mfa ne kra ensie papa yi e ba ye na nkono so ye na adwen so obeto ade ekofo ye no so a oni mahama ba ye no e no mo ye so mo so beto ane ekofo ye no so a nko man kese ye nanzo ma anya ne sa mo ba ye mo make sure say ye mfa otan hudu bia mo manim se mobekaya even DCs and Al Hassan Suhini kan ye no DCs no krampo no President President Mills ne President Mahama emo mu dasu kuto mu position mu for 3 good months. Send there will be a smooth transition to demonstrate say he is a father for all. What you see? Obaye wa nhwe say yenyi Chief Justice in free ho, yenyi fine saying electoral commissioner be free ho, yenyi we there be. NDC for the pressure to no so or say there be. Samobe Kaya President Mahama Mills asamo kind said, do I look like a hunter? Look into my face. Do I look like a hunter? There are friends honorable Kobna J, former chairman of the NDC. I also when any baby could yamin fan currency, Dr. Kobna J. Also can said there are several ways of killing the cat. Now NDC 4% ye Chief Justice Georgina Wood free ho because of how na ye there are some kokota na aye bukata yi. President Mills said there be that. Yemma ho kwan ma emra no constitution yemfa nya adwuma se ne bre enso ya ma obiara mfa ne nsa enkoka eye papa maame no ema na to aso ye na adwuma kopim so call no pension empendodo a NDC tina power mami ene rule ya kopim se NDC free power obia mfa ne nsa anka maame no. President Mahama Mills 4 years nina. President Mahama 4 years nina. Mami and take over as Chief Justice of Ghana. Not President Akuffo and said that no obra no be free power. When di Ghana bro. Omo price say President Mills and President Mahama try say omo di constitution no ebeye adwuma. Said ye beya successive governments will continue na oman no atumi atumpon oman no yantwene oman no ho intinka anya hwekran komampanyini Akuffo Addo bae no ko no so me na afamu de no so try impose obeye bibi kakra saa wono de obae mpo de na chese ko chese ne de no kwa de kan tan Omampanyini Akuffo Addo abeseye akoro no kra wabetu agu na kwasi asem ya say institutions ni nyinara uko judiciary ya seho military ya seho police ya seho immigration ya seho customs ya seho hifa ni yense de hifa na aka enti yense ya say baby ya aden abusiafo aden party baako mo de mo ba mo be say oman no party baako mo de mo ba said ye nka ye pese ye kanipa nyina bom from Mahama time police forms ba military forms ba immigration forms ba fire service nyina ba ebeto ho ko online obenya bi uko banks bia post office bia benya bia akoto no afele no akọ submit uko na ko screen na say o deserve ya foul unku hia penyini bia ma o me protocol penyini bia mbedi wanim penyini bia nko frefre wa obekọ pakpakpa na ya foul ende etesen adane business ena ebinim eye ne uni be 10,000 15,000 20,000 immigration forms kwa unya bi na wanya no kura no wansa nkotuatua forget it bia mfawo ade dinti na wo se oman yetumi ye ne sa obra munyina mo kaise Sami Akuwuku at the time eka mpo say sa forms na Mahama de beto ye tonton or banks ne ye ton wo ye efenesen post office ne ho ade no hu ni say ye nkwase asem na omo ban ba omo forms no ye be ma manfa picking free ye be che ni free because Ghana ni bia ni ho e wo so be pa acho say opeso obeye security ebo Ghana ni hu ban Ghana ni bia ni ho e wo say sabio okoje okoto police form immigration form military form say ono person obeye obebo Ghana for ho ban enu kwa say ban say wo say ye ni free mo obi akoto no obi akoje ni free wa person uko bia no ko ni screen no a wo pass akpa na uko I think Akuffo Addo ade ani ye ton no 50 cedis ni 30 cedis ni 40 cedis no ena me no ukase me say so open police recruitment form credible and fake ukunya obetumi anya access into the police, army or immigration or customs at this ukuta not less than 15,000 adding abusiafo moma yedi na ho na Ghana nkrofo yi omo se no e di amaye 2024 December 7th election no moma yi na yen kambum na nkrofo yi yen kire omo kwan aha PENDREAM TV make sure so be subscribe to this channel na wa like your page no e di amaye be pacho follow yen ye social media platforms ni na so Facebook PENDREAM TV Ghana, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram ni na PENDREAM TV. Bit me follow you. Abusan for what me chire bi so a utimi at the to comment section no ase e de baye. PENDREAM TV yesi edam yopo.
Maneva na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osi edam yopo.